Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I want to cover how to get on the job experience as a network engineer using Packet Tracer. Yes, we're going to be using Packet Tracer. If you guys don't know, Cisco Packet Tracer is one of the easiest tools you guys can use right now to get on the job experience. It's one of the tools that I love using. It is a tool, in fact, that helped me land my first job as a network engineer. So it's an incredible tool. It's a tool that you guys should be using, and we're going to jump straight into this. But just so you know, Packet Tracer is extremely lightweight. It works with any computer. Doesn't matter if it's a MacBook. I'm using Mac for this particular scenario, but you can do this on Windows. And it's an amazing software. It's super lightweight. You don't need virtual machines. You don't need all the crap that the other platforms need, like GNS3 and even G, which are a little bit more advanced. This one doesn't require as much, and it's much easier to use, and it's very beginner friendly. So that's why we're going to cover it for you guys, make it as simple as possible. So let's go ahead and jump straight in. All right, welcome back everyone. So as you can see here, here's kind of like a random topology that was generated, and this is Packet Tracer, guys. So as you can see, it looks a little bit confusing since you see all this information here, but do not worry. Don't worry. It's very simple to use. The one thing I want you guys to know is these are the types of devices here. Like these are all the devices that you can use. There's routers, all these routers. As you can see, we have the 4000 series to 1000 series, 2000, all these routers here. You can also look at all the switches. These are all the switches here. So we have 2000 series. We have, I don't even know what these types of switches are, I don't even know what they are, to be honest. If you guys know, let me know. And we have layer 3 switches here. We have some bridges and some more switches, right? And then here's some of the hubs and repeaters, but you don't really have to worry about that. And then here's some of the end devices that you can use on Packet Tracer. So it's a wonderful tool, and here's some of the stuff that you can use, right? So really what I want you to know is, the real question is, how should you use it to get on the job experience? Because here's the thing, using this tool is amazing, but how do we utilize it in a manner that's gonna help me land a job? Because I know a lot of you guys, maybe you have your CCNA, but you don't know how to get projects or do projects that are related to what a network engineer would do on the job. So one of the easiest ways to do this is basically to do troubleshooting projects. And one way to do this is, it may be a little bit difficult if you don't have a network engineer friend to kind of cause havoc on the network, but the way to kind of do troubleshooting projects is have a network that's already pre-built, right? Have a pre-built network, and then have a network engineer make some changes on it. Obviously, if you make the changes, you'll know the changes that you made, but maybe have a network engineer look at the changes that were made, or look at the network and make changes to make it not work. And once you make those changes to make it not work, then actually what's going to happen is you're going to have to go and fix it. And that's one of the easiest ways to do that, is to basically have a broken network and try to fix it. So that's one of the easiest ways to do that. So let's go ahead and jump straight back into Packet Tracer. So everyone, so here's one of the labs that we got going on. And as you can see here, I'm going to just go and quickly log into one of these devices here. And basically, once you click on one of these PCs, you're able to see what was configured here. And you can kind of see with the PC and all that stuff here. But really what we want to do is, let's say you're trying to become a network engineer. What a network engineer would do is, okay, verify connectivity. One way you can easily do that is you would go onto the command prompt, and then from here, you just run a simple command. You'll just do like a ping, right? And I'll just ping, maybe a device within our network. So I'm on PC 6 in this particular scenario. As you can see here, PC 6. And maybe I want to ping maybe this 192.168.20.100. So that's a private IP address. So let's just go ahead and try to ping it. So 192.168.20.100. And as you can see, the pings are actually working, which is freaking awesome, because as a network engineer, when pings are not working, it is going to be an absolute headache. And one cool thing about Packet Tracer, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's this button here. Maybe I'm blocking it, but there's a button here that says simulation. I clicked on it and it opens this window here, and I can actually extend this out, but it's sometimes a little bit hard to grab it from the corner, but I'm gonna extend it out. There's a simulation button here, but you can't really see I'm blocking it. But as you can see here, you're just gonna go from here, and then actually what I'll do is I'm gonna go back into the device. I'm gonna go up arrow, and I'm gonna run the same command again to ping from PC 6 to PC 7 and see what happens. So I'm gonna do that. And then the cool thing about Packet Tracer is it shows you what exactly is going on. So it's sending an ICMP packet. So you can actually see how the stuff gets traversed over the network, and it goes to the layer 3 switch and see what happens. And it goes straight back down to the neighbor. And it goes back up, it comes back down, and that is one completed ping, right? So there is that. So as you can see here, that's kind of like a basic network ping that you would do. But as a network engineer, you would do this a lot of times. I've done this so many times over. Like it's not even funny how many times I've done this, but the thing is, verifying connectivity is one thing. But as a network engineer, you're going to do this quite often, right? You're verifying connectivity. Maybe you're troubleshooting a scenario like someone says, hey, I'm not able to ping. And I just verified the pings worked. And then you would probably talk to that third party or that person who told you it's failing and maybe see what the reason is. And most likely you're going to want to use, if it is failing on their end and the pings are working, what you would have to do is you'd have to look at something called a packet capture, or use a tool called Wireshark. So that's kind of what you would do as a network engineer. Unfortunately, there is no native support for Wireshark, I believe, on Packet Tracer, so you're unable to do that. But the whole point of using Wireshark is to verify the packets flowing through the network, because within Packet Tracer, you can only verify layer 3 connectivity, which is why we just did a ping, which is just layer 3 connectivity. So if you want to do anything more than layer 3 connectivity, obviously you're going to have to use Wireshark to look at the packets and see if it's TCP, UDP, whatever's going on behind the scenes, and verify that if the TCP handshake or anything beyond that is having any issue. So that's kind of the basics of what we do as a network engineer. We verify connectivity, but also we want to verify physical connectivity as well. So let's go ahead and jump into physical connectivity. So now we verified layer 3 connectivity, but to be honest, before we even verify layer 3, we're supposed to verify physical connectivity. So one way to do that is I'm going to log into this particular switch right here, which is a layer 3 switch. And I'll just go and open it real quick. And I'll just do enable. And then from here, what I'll do is I'm just going to do a show IP interface brief, right? And that's one cool command that you guys can run on a Cisco device. And that gives you the ability to verify the ports, right? And for this particular one, we have a couple of ports that we're working with. So let's go ahead and move this to the side. And as you can see here, I'm just going to kind of hover over this, but you can see we're using gigabit fast Ethernet 04 and gigabit Ethernet fast 05. So these are the interfaces we're using. And as you can see, the interfaces are up, right? So actually, if I do this real quick, I can actually go into this and do show interface fast Ethernet 0/5. And I can just verify and make sure things are looking good. And, as you can see here, everything looks decent enough. There isn't anything that stands out. And we see it is connected and up. So we are good to go. So that's layer 1 connectivity, right? So that's one cool thing that you guys can do as a network engineer. So we just verified layer 1 connectivity. So as a network engineer, obviously layer 1 connectivity sometimes requires physical cabling. So you would have to actually touch, the physical cable. And the cool thing about network engineering is we have that physical aspect that we get to do, and we get to actually touch the physical cables. I myself, as a network engineer, never had to do this because, and most people don't kind of get this misunderstood, that network engineers can't work remote because there's a physical aspect. But the good news is there's people called smart hands, or people who just work at the data center and that's their role, is they're going to be our hands on site, right? So they will handle all the physical connectivity for us and make sure things are looking good. We just verify connectivity through the switch, but we're not 100% sure if the connectivity is what is known as crossed. Sometimes the connectivity can be crossed as a network engineer, and that means that maybe the ports are connected to different ports. And one way to only verify that is to shut down one of the interfaces and make sure the other side is also shut down as well to verify that connectivity issue. So that's kind of what we do as a network engineer. We verify that. And this is just very bare bones. Obviously, I'm not going to go into the weeds of it. Obviously, there's a lot more to this, but I just wanted to cover the basics of what we do and what it kind of looks like, right? Because sometimes we're on bridge calls, right? And these bridge calls are basically calls where you get on a video call with certain team members, and in this call you're basically talking and expressing how much you're trying to fix an issue or whatever you're trying to fix, and you kind of go about troubleshooting this. And doing these kind of activities as a network engineer, or even before becoming a network engineer, will give you extreme amount of confidence in yourself to be able to pass a network engineering interview, because every single network engineering interview requires you to be able to pass a technical interview. And those technical interviews require you to understand troubleshooting. I mean, I've seen this time in and time and again. A lot of network engineers or network engineers or people who want to be network engineers, they go into interviews and they can't pass the technical part where they ask them, can you troubleshoot? Because they've never done it before. They're so used to basically just doing it by themselves or never actually doing it. But if you can troubleshoot in a manner that actually gives you the confidence to be able to pass an interview, you're good to go. And that's the easiest way to do it. The way I would do it is find a network engineer buddy, it could be me. If you're interested, click the link down below if you guys want mentorship, and I can basically guide you in the right direction. But the best way to do this is find someone who's a network engineer, have them, maybe you create the network or they create it, let them cause havoc in that network, i.e. changing stuff, maybe an IP address, shutting down a port, messing up some of the routing configurations, and have you fix it. And give yourself like a time crunch, maybe 30 minutes, whatever, to fix the particular issue. And you may not fix it, but you want to get better at that, which is why a lot of people struggle, is they don't know how to troubleshoot. So I would do that. And if you guys are interested, click the link down below if you guys want mentorship on exactly how to do this, because this is where I go and help students with mentorship when it comes to helping them troubleshoot network devices. And this really gives them really good experience for them to be able to pass technical interviews. So that's kind of the process, guys. And it's very simple, very easy to use. And that's what I recommend for someone who's looking to become a network engineer. I would only recommend Packet Tracer if you're brand new. Once you're ready to go to move on to the big dog advanced stuff, then I would obviously look into getting EVE-NG, which is EVE-NG if you're interested in that one. That one's a little bit more advanced. It does require some licenses, and you can also get another software called GNS3, which is what I like using sometimes as well. However, if you're a Mac user like me, and I know network engineers hate Mac users, but I believe Macs are pretty cool to use. It sucks to use on Mac and it's actually unusable sometimes. So you're definitely going to need a VM or a Mac machine, but you're still always going to need a virtual machine no matter what. So those are the different types of tools you guys can use if you guys want more advanced stuff. But just know that when you're doing the troubleshooting, I will also speak through it. Don't be quiet. Like don't troubleshoot like quietly, troubleshoot out loud, like speak it, because during the interview you need to be able to explain your mindset when it comes to troubleshooting. So that's the most important thing. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you guys want to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe. And with that being said, everyone, thank you guys so much for your time, and peace.